Hey.
How you
Are you
doing?
Australian?
Well, I mean, kind of wishing that I were.
Well, it is summer there.
It's summer there.
It's summer there right now.
That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. I was thinking the other day, I think we follow a few people on Instagram who are Australian.
Well, Chef
and-
Andy is
Chef
the big one,
Andy.
yeah.
But just actually how nice it would be for the holidays for the weather to be nice. You know, you think of Christmas
White
and
Christmas.
stuff with snow and it's cold. You want things to be cozy, but like they were just partying on the beach.
They were partying pretty hard.
And
yeah.
it was like New Year's Eve. And I just thought maybe for the first time ever how wonderful that actually would be.
Nope, we could always just go
We just go.
to Australia or just the Caribbean. or
Yeah, that's
something,
true. Yeah, somewhere. But it just, I don't know, it just seems like what a fun time. It's the holidays
Right.
and it's summertime.
Well, like I said,
Hell yeah.
I wish there were more tropical Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Well, it's morning, so
It is morning.
how's your day?
So far, so good. Can't complain. Been productive.
Good.
Done some yoga.
Great.
We ran yesterday. Don't
We're-
worry.
Right.
Still a runner.
We're still running.
I've had breakfast.
Yeah.
And I put a little mascara on.
Yeah,
So
you look good.
I think
You
so
look good,
far
kid.
so good. I'm feeling good about today. We played rock and roll until pretty late last night,
We
which was
did,
fun.
yeah.
I mean, 10:30. That's like
Oof.
for me.
Well, it's always funny because it's like we don't stay up or practice late. But
Anymore.
Then, you
Yeah.
know, every other month we have to play a show.
Oh my God, I have to drink so much coffee.
And they're like, all right,
To get
well, you'll start
myself
at
ready.
11 p.m.
Yeah. I mean, anymore, we're like, we will open the show.
Oh, I would much rather open.
Is it I mean, 9 p.m.? That's kind of perfect because, like, people who are coming have time to go get dinner. Then they come, but it's not, you're not waiting until midnight. I mean, most people, especially nowadays, people who are coming to our shows, we're all a little bit older than we were. And so I think 9 o'clock is like perfect. It's like you feel like you've done something if you're attending the show. You're like, I've gone out, I spent my time out in the evening, and now I can go home. But it's not so early that you're like, oh, well, do I eat a really early dinner or do I skip dinner or what do I do? So 9 o'clock, I think, is the sweet spot.
I would just prefer to either play first or last.
Yeah,
Because the middle spot is always the worst for setting up gear.
scrambling.
You're scrambling to get on and off.
Yeah.
Shit's going everywhere. You
Yeah.
never get as much of a sound check. Even if it's a big show and you
Right.
like everybody sound checks.
Right.
It's
Well,
still
we
a
talked
disaster.
about that last time.
Yeah.
It's like you can never guarantee the sound. Another thing, for being first, great for the timing wise, and you get the long
Mm-hmm.
setup and the decent sound check. But the crowd is kind of sober.
They are. They're a little dry.
They're a little dry, and it's much easier to feed off of a little bit of a rowdy crowd in terms of your own performance. So I've almost shifted to wanting to be last because then at least people have some drinks in them
Yeah.
and there's a little more back and forth with the crowd. They like the banter, they like the funny moves. But when you're first and you try to do some of the banter or the funny moves and everyone in the crowd is just staring at you like
Oh, yeah.
they're studying you, awful feeling.
Oh, yeah.
You feel like, okay, I've done everything wrong and nobody actually wants to be here and I should apologize for them even having to come out
so
right
sorry
now.
we're so loud.
I'm so sorry that you're even here, that I even exist. Like, we should probably just
Yeah.
leave. So, kind of leaning toward the last spot of the night, the headlining spot, which, it's funny because I do feel like, there's always sort of a headliner for a show.
Who's not necessarily the last band.
Who's not necessarily the last band. Exactly. Sometimes you sandwich them in the middle.
Right.
Sandwiching is always the polite thing to do for an out-of-town
traveling, yeah.
band. You have a local opener and a local last spot. We won't even say headliner. And then the middle spot is reserved for the out-of-town band. That's a 3-person bill. 4-person gets a little wonky, but you still have those middle spots. Honestly, anything more than a 4-person bill should just be illegal. Truly.
Festivals are hard.
Festivals are hard. The set times are shorter, obviously. But festivals, but they're longer amounts of time. So they usually start at like 1 p.m. and go later. And I'm talking with local festivals and bigger
Yeah.
festivals. So it still does kind of work out. It's those like 4 and 5-person bills that start at 8 or 9 o'clock. Like,
Well, the only
no.
thing that really annoys me about that is where to put all the gear.
Oh my God.
Like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a bunch of metal bands, typically a smaller venue.
Right.
So you get 5-6 bands and like,
Now, okay, would you rather have to deal with finding a place to put all of the gear or share gear.
No, don't share
Don't
gear
share
ever,
gear.
ever,
No,
never.
find a place where I'll keep it in the fucking van until I
it's
have to
totally
play.
fine.
I am playing my amp.
I'll load the
I am
stage.
playing my pedals.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee the drummer is playing their goddamn drums.
Well, I mean, like with the drummer over and over again, it's not even that the gear is the wrong size or something. It's like they make cymbal stands that are single legs or doubled the legs as far as like the bars that hold the actual feet. And like most venues will have the cheaper versions of things. Of
course.
So it just all falls apart. The entire
Oh my
time
God.
you're
I
playing.
remember playing in Asheville. It was the first time we ever played in Asheville. And it was the tiniest kick drum I have ever seen. And they were adamant about us playing the gear. And we finally were just like, okay, freaking fine. Leslie broke that kick drum immediately.
Yeah.
To the point where we had to stop the show. We had to go get her kick drum and put it on stage.
Yeah.
And we were like, we told you so.
Yeah.
We told you so. It was so funny. Though I remember we were like halfway, maybe not even halfway through the first song, and Leslie just was like, I don't have kick. And we were like, something's wrong. And sure enough, busted through immediately.
And it's funny because like the times I think about it, it would be CMJ, which was like a music showcase in New York City, or South by.
Oh my God, South by.
But so like, it makes sense because 20 bands are going to be playing.
Oh yeah.
So you don't even, not only is there no room, there's people packed wall to wall. So you got to play the stuff that's in there. But those events are designed to sort of scout talent.
Of course.
And what a poor way
To showcase talent.
because they're going to be playing on improper gear and an improper setting.
But if you can play through that.
Right, of course.
There you go.
Yeah, playing through
so maybe
adversity.
that's part of the whole scheme.
I don't know. It just was like never fun for the musicians, I'll tell you that.
No. If you are just an attendee at a CMJ or a South by, it's a blast.
Mm-hmm.
You are seeing everybody. There's people walking on the sidewalk that are, it's an interesting thing to attend. It's a horrible, horrible thing to play. We've done it a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, it was fun and it was an experience. But yeah, when you are pushing your gear down freaking 6th Street in Austin and there's just drunk people and you're like, please get out of my way.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, it's a lot. But you're stronger for it.
You are.
You're definitely stronger for it. But all that to say, it's been a really nice morning.
That has been.
Even after playing some late night rock and roll.
Yeah.
How's your morning?
Well, I'm a little under the weather.
I know.
Just a little bit. I think, the rock and the winter's caught up to me.
Yeah, you're just sick.
I think the most annoying thing is going to be, like, I don't physically feel that bad.
Right.
But, my throat hurts, and I'm going to be, like, draining all day. I know that.
Yeah.
And nothing is worse than tattooing with a
When
runny
you're
nose.
leaking.
Oh, my God. But you can't touch your
can't
face.
do anything.
You can't do anything about it. So
No.
then every 5 minutes I have to be like, I'm so sorry. And then go
Well,
to
and
the
it's
bathroom.
like, okay, you could put a mask on, but then you're just draining into your mask.
Yeah, you're
which
just
I
dripping the whole time.
feel like
into
I'm
it.
like, I don't know which
And
is
with my
worse,
mustache,
to be
it's like,
honest.
no.
Well, at least it catches some of it.
I guess so.
Please wash your mustache.
I will wash your mustache.
Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
I hope it gets better.
It could be way worse, though.
Absolutely. And I mean, you get sick maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
If
It's
that,
usually
it's
the same.
It's the same illness. It's
My
like a
throat-
one night thing.
My throat gets tight for a night. I have, it's like painful swallowing. I have a runny nose, and then I'll be fine.
There have been a few times where you've probably had a fever, but I wake up because the bed is violently shaking because you are violently shaking.
Oh, I'm just shaking
to the point
through
where
it.
I'm like, okay, do I need 911
Some
on
doctor's
speed dial?
listening to this and
I
gonna be
know.
like,
buddy, you need to get that
Yeah.
shit checked out. But it's funny because I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then in the morning, you pop out of bed, you're like, I'm leaking, but I'm good.
Yeah,
And
do
I'm
a little
like,
flip,
what the
it's
fuck
great.
is
yeah.
going on? Yeah, don't think it's. I mean, maybe it's normal for you.
Yeah.
And normal is relative to everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
But
My body's fine. I don't get really achy.
yeah,
I'm not quite foggy or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little congestion.
oh, those days when you wake up, I like to call it being tethered or untethered.
Oh, yes, you do.
And you can just kind of feel it right away. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite tethered today. Sometimes it's just from being tired.
Right.
Sometimes it is because you're off. Sometimes it's because you're hungover.
Yeah.
But you don't feel completely connected to the ground.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling.
Well, I tell you, I'm angry today because I didn't drink at all yesterday.
Yeah, so you don't even have a reason.
I know.
Yeah.
I can't even blame it.
Well, then you actually know that like something's going on.
I know. No, that was
so.
exactly when I got up this morning. I was like, oh,
Like,
well.
oh yeah, you got up. I was already up, and the first thing I said, "Good morning." And you said, "I'm sick," and I was like, "Oh great, here we go." Especially, I have to travel tomorrow. I'm really hoping to
So
not.
I'll just be here like a little potato wrapped
Yeah,
up.
you'll be fine.
I think
You'll
I'll be fine.
completely fine. I'm just gonna go be around a bazillion people at the airport. So,
Yeah.
gonna take my zinc.
And a soon-to-be baby,
Well, not for a couple months.
too. Yeah.
That's a couple.
I understand.
Let's hope I'm not sick then.
Yeah.
But well, I hope the sickness subsides.
Well, I'm glad, we take the podcast as seriously as our marriage because in sickness.
And in health.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, yeah.
podcasting.
Episode 10.
Episode 10, double digits.
It's a milestone.
Do you
right?
remember turning 10? Because
No.
there's a whole thing you're turning double digits.
I don't remember at all.
Really?
No, but I have very few memories of my childhood.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily remember like my 10th birthday or what happened, but I just remember that was such a thing. Everyone was turning double digits.
Yeah.
And like your cake would say like
I
double
understand.
digits.
Oh, yeah.
And it was fun. It was
Yeah.
a good time. Back when birthday parties were fun.
Well, you hate
I hate a birthday. I hate my own birthday.
that's what I mean, your own birthday. You never want to do anything for your birthday. You're pretty much against it.
Yeah. And it's not even that I hate it. I don't want to put in the effort.
Yeah.
On my birthday, I want it to be calm and quiet.
Right.
That's my birthday wish. Calm, quiet, chill. I don't have to do anything
Yeah.
that I don't just already have to do.
Well, it's
like I don't
fun.
mind working on my birthday. That's totally fine.
It's like gifts in general. It's really fun to plan an event for other people.
Exactly.
A birthday or a celebration or like any type of party. The gallery openings, I always
Right,
really enjoy
right.
doing that. But if I have to like do something for myself,
Yeah.
and then you're like, this feels weird, and now I'm doing all the work, and I don't like this. Yeah.
It's interesting because most of the time humans are fairly self-centered,
Mm-hmm.
self-focused. So what is it? I would say a lot of people, I mean, there are people who love their birthday and they're
Right.
like, yes, this is my birthday. We're doing something. And I think they love the planning process of it.
Mm-hmm.
It almost like gives them the opportunity to plan something for something, that
Yeah.
being themselves. But I would say a lot of people would just prefer to be quiet on their birthday. They don't want to announce it.
It's
They
probably
don't.
a mortality thing.
Maybe it's a mortality
Like subtly
thing.
in your mind, you're like, one more year, closer to the grave.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think about mortality very often. Although there was a period of time a few years ago,
Go on.
I would maybe be sitting on the couch or like doing something extremely mundane, and I would get this overwhelming, almost fear of like, I will die.
Well, it's accurate. Yeah.
And like there's no avoiding it, and then I'm like, everyone else around me, I know they will die, but like I will, and then I get like freaked out, almost getting it a little bit right now, but not quite. And then other days I'm like, yeah, who fucking cares? I'm gonna die, and so is everybody else. Like cool,
Everybody's done it.
everyone's done it. But a little bit over that now, which is good. But so I don't know if the birthday thing really
I saw the world's oldest person just died.
116,
16.
I think. Yeah.
And then immediately, though, now the second oldest is also 116.
160.
Yeah.
Was the oldest? It was a man, and now it's a
Now
woman.
it's a woman
I think.
who's like a nun somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say in like South America,
Mm-hmm.
and the other person was maybe in like Japan.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I also saw that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine hitting 100 and you're like, damn, all right, we made it to 100, and then 16 more
more.
years. I wonder what their quality of life was like.
Which is all about quality of life. I
Exactly.
don't care how old I get as long as I can still be active.
Yep.
My brain's sharp.
Yep.
I can move. I can do stuff. I can wipe my own butt.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
minimal stuff. And
Yeah.
as soon as your like faculties start to go,
As long as I'm tethered.
as long as I'm tethered.
As long as I'm tethered.
Yeah.
Even if someone has to wipe my butt, as long as I'm tethered,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Well, let's yeah, if the brain's there,
Yeah.
like you can still make fun of it, engage in conversation.
Yeah.
People want to be around. You can still like get joy out of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if you physically can't do much,
Right.
you can travel within your mind. you can experience
totally.
it. Like there's so many things you can still
Well,
do.
by the time
with
we're
your mind.
100,
Robots,
we'll just have a robot body,
we will.
and we'll have VR, and we'll be
We'll be flying all over the place. It'll be great.
Hey, what was the Black Mirror that won all the Emmys, where it's the elderly? It turns out that it's elderly ladies, and they're deciding where to upload their brains after they die.
Oh gosh.
It's not San Bernardino, but it's something like that.
Right. Oh, yes,
Right.
yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, so you'll be able to just upload your consciousness.
And go back and live in the 80s.
You could
and
just
go
pick
live
wherever
in
and
the,
live
yeah. Be
in
at the
a
club
journey.
dancing. And,
But it's weird to be like, is that you? You know?
oh God. Well, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the question.
Yeah.
What are we? Who are we? Why are we?
This is
Where the fuck are we?
this is why people listen, you know, to ask these deep questions. I was just thinking, I had a client who mentioned, she's like, I love the podcast. And I was
Oh.
like, oh, shit. One person listened. All right.
Yeah. Talk about some real stuff. Like existential.
Death and what happens afterwards. Yeah. The big
Yeah.
cues, you know, that's what we're all about here.
The big cues. Little Q. I actually didn't have a question lined up.
All right. Terrible segue today.
Been good so far.
I thought because
Good
it was
so far.
early, it would be sharp.
There's just, I mean, it's hard. I think I do love to do most things in the morning.
No, you are 100% a morning person.
Very much more, like I said, anything with coffee. But it is funny because it's like, okay, well, like not much has happened yet today. Obviously, we've had things going on in the past few days, but there's something about the end of the day and recapping it. And I mean, I think that's partially why we started this podcast is
That's
because
the whole point, yeah.
for a long time, at the end of the day, we really would just have these conversations. And as we got busier and busier, at the end of the day, it was just a quick, like, how was your day? Fine. How was your day? Fine. Moving on. I think there's something so valuable in talking about your day, talking about what happened, hashing through the things that happened. I mean, sort of as a way to not let things just bottle up. Some days are wonderful and you get to just talk about the fun of that day, and that's fantastic. What a cool way to end your day and then roll into the next day. Other days are shitty. And I think we're way more inclined to not talk about that, especially maybe with a partner or with whomever you're around, because you don't want to just lament.
Right.
That feels like you're putting a burden on somebody, but it's also a way to think about what happened, hopefully talk about it with somebody, in which case they're going to reciprocate, and either you're going to have a discussion about it, or they're at least going to sort of sympathize or empathize or just react. And then based off of all that, you're going to think about the day slightly differently. And maybe it just sets you up a little bit more for waking up the next day.
Well, it's very easy to be reactionary.
Yeah.
And you can be in a situation, something can happen, and you view it one way. And then when you talk about it again, I mean, how many times is someone telling you a story and they're like, well, you just had to be there. And
Yeah.
you sort of realize, oh, it wasn't funny, or the thing actually
Right.
wasn't a thing.
Right.
You know, and the inverse of that is 100% true, that you're like, oh my God, this person did this. Like, how could they do that? And then you talk about it and you're like, oh, well, it really wasn't that much of a big deal, or that didn't.
But that's
really...
also just laziness. I'm like, if you're telling me a story, tell me the story. Just tell me about what happened.
In that context,
Yeah.
I hear you.
Right,
Yes.
right. But I do think a lot of people,
Well, people are bad at storytelling.
they're bad at storytelling, myself included. Not a great storyteller. But it's like,
people get to rambling, and then it's like,
yeah.
you know, when I just listened to On Writing by Stephen King, which was great, but self-editing is super difficult, right? And it's like most of the things you're telling someone are relevant.
Right.
Well, it's like we were just talking about music.
Yeah.
And we were, you know, people, like, you can spend all day worrying about that snare drum sound.
Right.
And you can go through 1,000 different snare drum tones. You can move all the frequencies until you're like, this is absolutely perfect. You play a song for somebody and you're like, did you like that snare? And they're like, I was just listening to the singing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like they could not
what's the
give
snare?
a fuck. They could not give a fuck about it. It was completely irrelevant.
Right.
Now, important in the context of the song for it to be there, but when you're telling someone a story,
Right.
get to the fucking point.
Yes and no. I mean, yes. get to the point. Why are you telling me this?
Right.
What is the point of this story?
Now, if we're talking prose, if you're talking about like Prince of Tides or some shit, then
Right.
it's like poetry, and the whole point is the beauty of what you're saying.
Right,
There's a way to,
right.
but also like, I guarantee that there were a lot more words in there
Oh yeah.
that then got edited out.
Yeah.
To be like the silky smoothness of the white porpoise.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the gallantry smoothness of the diamonds on its back. You know, like
Right,
you edit
right,
it down to be like,
right.
this is the punch.
2025 challenge. Perfect storytelling.
Perfect storytelling.
Let's get on it. Where you do set the scene, you do give some context, you do give a visual in the mind, but you get to the point.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, a huge benefit that I have is I just talk to people all day,
Which is less and less common for most people.
all day long.
Yeah.
I sent you that funny Kurt Vonnegut thing about buying an envelope.
Yes.
You remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
But we have less and less human interaction, to loop back around to the VR shit. But, you know, Kurt Vonnegut has this quote about, you know, I told my wife I'm going out to buy an envelope, and she was like, well, why don't you just order 100 online, and then you just have the envelopes? And he's like, it's not about
Being
buying
able
the
to go get the envelope,
It's
yeah.
going out and talking to a little girl on the street and bumping into a guy and asking him about his day and his work and finding out that he does welding or
And
whatever.
petting a
And
dog.
petting a dog.
And interacting
It's-
with
yeah.
the convenience
And
store
going-
person.
And then buying, and it's not buying the envelope. It's the interactions along the way. Like,
Yeah.
just let me buy my goddamn envelope.
And I mean, obviously, we're in an age where there's so much online shopping
Oh, well, I
and
mean, both of us,
availability. And so,
which is a great resource. Like,
wonderful resource and extremely convenient. And I think convenience
right.
has a ton of value in your life, but your just normal interactions with shop owners and with people out in the world is less and less because everything's just coming to you. So you do need to find times to go out and interact with people and have real conversations. I mean, we're extremely fortunate that we're in an industry where conversation is just part of the gig. You know, there are obviously tattoo artists and clients who prefer to just kind of be in the zone, put headphones in. But a lot of times, I mean, tattoos are a very personal thing. Even if it's a silly little thing,
Well, and I
it's
have a
personal.
private
it's,
studio.
It's intimate. You have the private studio. And then you realize that people still want to talk.
Yeah.
I think that's been one of the most kind of enlightening things about being in this industry is as people act like they don't want to talk anymore, as everyone says, you know, everyone's just online and they're doing their own thing and they're so concerned with just themselves. And it's like, no, at the end of the day, given the right opportunity and the right situation, people still really, really want
We're
to talk.
social creatures.
Yeah.
You know, we evolve that way
Yeah.
to communicate. You want to have like community, and you want to talk. You want to interact with other
Yeah.
humans constantly.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, with the private studio, when you're in a tattoo shop and there's a bunch of other people around you tattooing, you basically want to block out the other shit.
Right.
You know,
of
you're
course.
less likely to talk honestly.
Talk honestly.
If there's
Yeah.
12 other people listening,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But when it's just you and I
Yeah.
in a beautiful space,
Right.
and there's jazz music playing, and you're like,
Setting
yeah,
the scene.
you know, I hate my mom. And
Right,
I'm like,
right.
all right, tell me
I
more.
know. Oh my gosh. The conversations.
Oh, they're always so
the
fun.
honesty is funny, and we've talked about this a lot. Pain brings out
Oh, for sure.
honesty.
It's the whole reason that
the
Hot Ones is
conversation.
successful.
Usually, you know, at the beginning of the tattoo, when it's like, okay, I can kind of handle the pain, everything's good. People are pretty lighthearted in what they're talking
they
about.
try to
It's
act
very
cool.
surface level, and as the tattoo goes on, as the hours go on, as the pain
Yeah, yeah.
goes on.
I'm having an affair.
Right. Like, oh God, it just came out. Well, I guess we should talk about it now. It's pretty funny. But it's so the case every single
Oh,
time. Every single time. But it's made me so much more optimistic about just people in general and
Well, it made me optimistic during the election cycle. Like,
oh yeah.
every time there's like any major political moves, like sociological things in the world, I'm talking to people. Luckily, I have a very like broad demographic,
yeah.
of clients, you know, from like all ages and races. And
I mean, they kind of tick
socioeconomic
all the freaking boxes.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So like I hear all of their opinions, and at the end of the day, they're almost all the exact same.
Yeah.
They're the
They
exact
really-
same.
We all want the same things.
Yeah.
Some of us
They
may
care about
lean
their family and their
one way or the
community, and
other
they're trying-
slightly.
Everyone's like trying to better themselves, whether
Yeah.
it's like, you know, mentally or physically. They all like care about their family, the people close to them, but then also
Yeah.
they all like, it's amazing. Everybody seems to want the same things.
Yeah.
And the gap is not that far between people.
No, which I think is another reason it's extremely important to have the mindset think global, act local.
Oh, 100%.
Because you really can have an impact when you are engaging with your immediate community, with the people in your network, in your world. And that will spread exponentially to the point where it becomes a global thing.
Yeah.
But this idea of just going out and spewing out into the whatever with no real direct impact on anything or anyone, you're not doing anything except probably giving yourself a hoarse voice. But by engaging with other people and with your community, you really can have a change. And I don't know, I guess just knowing that so many people do still want similar things and do want it. Like, I guess our insight into the fact that people do want to connect, do want to interact, makes me just want to tell people to then freaking do it.
Yeah.
Someone may look and seem 180 degrees different from you, but I could almost guarantee that if you were to just sit down and actually talk to them, or not even have to have a conversation, but engage with them on a genuine and honest level, you will get the reaction that you are hoping.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we could all just like keep doing that, everyone's going to start to look and seem a lot more familiar.
Well, you humanize them. I mean, that's where a lot of problems we run into is that people don't know the other side or the other community, right? So that's where racism or xenophobia or homophobia and these things come from. It's like, you know, you're from a community where there's not a lot of black people. You're from a community where there's not a lot of gay people. So then you're afraid of them because it's the unknown.
Right.
So fear of the unknown then leads to like hate.
Right.
Right. You know, it's like small jumps. Like
Yeah.
people are always like, these people are so ignorant, these bigots or whatever. It's like, well, they're ignorant, but they're ignorant because they don't know.
Right.
You know?
It's not a chosen ignorance.
No, it's not like they're choosing violence or,
Right.
you know, or choosing this ignorance. It's
Well,
that,
and then you have to contend with the vocal minority.
Yeah.
Who are loud, who are some of the shitty people.
Well, yeah,
who are
there's gonna be-
chosen ignorant
and you have
people.
to acknowledge that there's like shitty people
Right.
in every class of people and
Like,
every
oh,
demographic.
Absolutely.
You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And those, but what I'm saying is, those are then sort of the headlines that you grab to. Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
those are the things you're like, well, this is what they're saying about this group of people, so therefore, I guess I have to believe that because I don't know because I'm not in
Yeah.
that group. Fuck that. Absolutely not. Go out and fucking
Yeah.
engage with people and interact with people, and you will be blown away by how
Well, if-
similar and amazing
If you
everybody
go to
actually
a drag
is.
show, you're probably going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And if you go to a fucking Hardy country concert,
You're gonna
probably
have a
gonna
good time. I know.
And people are going to be surprisingly welcome.
Always.
Always.
Oh, I mean, we've been so fortunate that we've actually been able to experience so many different groups and settings, just truly based off of your clientele. They
Yeah.
invite us to things. We, interact with all these different people, and it's like, I can't tell you a time I've gone to something and wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Ever. And I mean, my parents were all about that growing up. They were like, get your ass out into the community, do real things, do not stay in this bubble, go out, whatever. And I don't know, it completely enriched my life. It's opened my eyes to so many different things. And it's such a better feeling walking down the street every day, feeling completely comfortable saying hi to every single person
Yeah.
that I pass. And living downtown, you pass all sorts of people. You pass the regular, just kind of middle class person. You pass the billionaire. You pass the homeless person. You pass the service industry worker. You pass the white collar. I mean, you pass fucking everybody. Say hi.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's their choice to say hello back, and then you can make your opinion about them. But it's so liberating. It's
And it
so
gets
freeing.
easier the more you do it. Like everything else.
Absolutely.
You feel less awkward going into a situation.
Yeah.
I think COVID was hard. Like, I know if we don't go out for a week, and socialize. Then the next time we're supposed to go out and do
A little
something.
like malfunction.
Oh yeah, you're like, I don't know, like this seems a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you have to like get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which comes with
Stand up straight.
stand up straight.
Shoulders back.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sort of 2025 New Year's resolution.
Standing up straight.
I need more so than standing straight. I need to sit up straighter.
Yeah.
I'm to the point now where it's physically uncomfortable to sit up like this. So
I typically like to, but I'm feeling a little wimpy today.
well, okay, you're sick. So
I always get comments when I'm tattooing about how straight I sit.
yeah. It's just so easy to be hunched. It really
And
is.
shrimping it up.
Shrimping it up.
Yeah.
I know.
Are you a
I
shrimp?
know.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, you're
a little
tiny.
Shrimp. A little shrimp. Anyway. But yeah, I really like people. And I really want
I like
to
people too.
engage with all people. So
What I don't like is tracking goddamn salt and slush onto every floor surface that we have in every business.
well, we bought like 5 doormats
Mats
yesterday
yesterday.
just to like kind
Jesus
of
Christ.
try to mitigate it like the tiniest bit
When we forget every year that winter's coming,
every year.
Every year. I'm like,
I'm-
it's not going to happen this
I'm
year.
gonna buy new snow boots, and every year I put on my wellies with my
I need
socks that
wellies
are cold as fuck.
because my boot situation is.
Well, that's the thing. You need the perfect waterproof but warm, but
I just want
insulated.
I just want something I can slip on.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna put.
We need to go to like farmers.com or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Not
slip on.
farmersonly.com.
No, that's the dating site. Yeah, I want something I can slip on, and then I'm just gonna leave shoes at every location.
Yeah.
So then I have office shoes, which I just want like velvet slippers.
Matthew. Okay.
Like
The
loafers.
emperor has arrived.
Like loafers.
I know.
I just want, and maybe I'll just bring my loafers I already have.
Yeah.
But at the studio, and then like running shoes at the gym.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
then I just leave them every place.
Exactly. Yeah. Just thinking about you and your velvet slippers. Next, you'll be wearing like a robe.
They're called like King Charles or something, like the
As
classic
they
ones.
should be.
Well, that's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But no, it's a good point. I mean, I saw a guy walking to work yesterday. He had his snow boots on, carrying his little
what I'm talking
shoes.
about.
But if you could just leave them, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. Yeah. They need to be a nice neutral to fit with your fit, no matter what
black.
fit. Yeah, black or brown. I don't know. Sometimes if you're wearing navy, you probably don't want to
Mm-hmm.
wear black. But also, like, I feel like a lot of those rules are kind of out the window anymore.
For sure. But I always like, I got those new khakis, but I can never wear them to work.
Yeah.
Like I get little black spots
splatters,
over
yeah.
everything. So same thing with shoes. Like I can't wear anything
Oh,
other than
that's
black
true.
pretty
Yeah.
much every day
Yeah.
to work.
I always forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll find you some black velvet slippers. Now they're just turning into slippers. I don't know why this hit me today.
It totally is. I think I'll look cool.
I think you will too. I leave my boots at the barn.
Yeah.
I wear regular shoes out to the barn, and then I put my riding boots on, and then I slip them back in my cubby. It's great. Speaking of the barn,
Go on.
I have to buy Richie a sports bra.
Well, he's got a little rub.
I don't know why. I just think that's the cutest fucking thing ever.
It is
Yeah.
very
So
cute.
the horses are wearing their blankets right now because
Yeah.
it's 19 degrees
Right.
out. And a lot of horses are prone to it, and I think it's just the movement, the friction up
Yeah.
against it. His always gets a little bit like it comes unvelcroed and then it wraps underneath in the same fucking spot, or it flips underneath. And so I'm sure it's when he's laying down and when he gets up and stuff, it's just rubbing kind of like right on his chest. And so I was talking to Courtney yesterday and just mentioned, I was like, hey,
Yeah.
he has this rub. I bought some like hair regrowth serum that I'm going to put on it. But like, what should I do? And she was like, they literally make these like sports bra things.
Yeah.
So, and it's just a thing that goes around their shoulders
course.
and then Velcros underneath their belly. But I just think it's so cute
It's
that
very
I have
cute.
to buy Richie a sports
Yeah.
bra.
Well, if you're a marathon runner, you have to like
Yeah, you wear
tape over your nips
exactly.
and stuff.
Yeah. It's the same concept.
Yeah, just
exactly.
there's a rub and a friction
Yeah,
happening.
so I'm gonna buy him a sports bra.
Of course, yeah, I can't wait to see it.
All right, buy Richie a new sports bra before I buy myself one.
I know you will. Well, you'll buy everything for a horse before yourself. But people do that with all their pets.
All their pets.
Like-
The pets have the bed. They have
You're
the
gonna take care of
the
them before
checkups. They
yourself,
have
yeah.
the dental work. They have the everything.
I know tons
Because
of
they
people who
can't do it
go into
themselves.
medical debt for their pets.
I know.
You know,
I know.
I didn't even realize until recently because we don't have any pets currently. Well, we have
Except
Richie.
Richie.
But it's like all these people, you go to the vet now and they offer you like credit. You can get like lines of credit through the vet.
Oh, the vet, we have offered that.
Yeah.
I think it was, it was, I'm trying to remember if it was a credit card or just a line of credit.
Yeah.
And I think it was a line of credit. And I was like, that seems dangerous.
It seems dangerous,
That
right?
That's like getting a Macy's credit card.
Well, it's like, you'll go into like crazy debt for your child. Like you'll
Yeah.
do whatever to try and save this thing. And it's like, you'll do that for a cat? Like,
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, a lot of people's children these days.
What
are
did your
cats.
aunt say? It wasn't Aunt Terry who was like, just kill the cat.
Oh my God.
Aunt Terry just kept
my
saying it over and over.
cousins-
She was like, it's just a fucking cat.
My cousin didn't come to a wedding, or his girlfriend didn't come to a wedding, or something. And because the cat it was like a thing where it was going to be like really expensive. And
I just love it because Aunt Terry, she was like sewing buttons onto like trousers because someone had to like,
yeah,
she's a really good seamstress.
She's a seamstress, yeah.
And so she's like fixing these pants and she was like telling the story.
She's like-
and she's like, just fucking.
She did not say kill the cat, but she was just like, it's a cat. Like maybe.
I think she kind of looked at me and was like, kill the cat. And went back to sewing. And I was like, Aunt Terry.
She caught herself. She knew what she was
She knew it was
saying,
funny.
and
So
she's
then she ran.
kindest.
No, she's
Yeah,
a sweetheart.
she
Then
would
she
never
ran
kill
with
anything.
it. She got a laugh out of it. So she was like, oh, I'm going to say it more now because it's fucking funny.
Oh my God, Aunt Terry. Aunt Terry, I look the most like Aunt Terry.
For sure.
If you look at her high school pictures, like I'm not quite a spitting image, but a lot of my features, maybe with the exception of my eyes. I have my mom's eyes, which I can never see that in people.
Yeah.
Eyes, mannerisms more than anything, I would say, than physical appearance. Some people, it's like, that is obviously your child. But whether or not it's from the dad or the mom, I don't know. I feel like people always say that my sisters and I look identical.
Right. I don't see it at all.
We do not look identical. We act
You do.
identically.
Yeah.
Our mannerisms are the
Very
exact same.
similar.
The way we talk and move our mouths, the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
The way we move our hands, just the way we do things. And a lot of times we say them together at the same time. But I feel like a lot of people not mistake, but they see the mannerism over the physical appearance, but then attribute it to a physical appearance. And I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
of
we've
story.
been stopped before. I've been with you and Leslie, and they're like, y'all twins? And I'm like,
And it's funny. I'm like, do twins get that as much? Like,
Yeah.
like real like identical twins. Are people just like, y'all twins? Or is it people where they're like, you look almost like twins,
Yeah.
but they're like, are you twins? Because twins, you kind of answer the question
right away.
right away. It's like, those are obviously twins. But people who just look really similar, act really similar, built very similarly, are you twins?
Are you twins?
Any twins out there, let us know.
Yeah, please. Ohio has a large amount of twins, right? There's like a statistical anomaly.
I think so. Where is the Twin Festival? There's a Twin Festival. I don't think it's
We'll
in
look it
Ohio,
up.
though.
Yeah.
But there's a Twin Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that's funny as hell.
I'm sure that it is.
And then it's awkward, though, for the fraternal twins.
Right.
Because you're like,
Well, we're twins,
we're
but we're not
twins,
identical.
but like we don't have the
Yeah.
cute identical thing going on.
Yeah.
So,
Did you know any twins in
yeah,
school?
I did. A few, actually. Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes. Most of them, I'm trying to think. There were fraternal girl twins in elementary school, identical boy twins in high school, brother-sister twins in high school. Those are the three that come to mind right now. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah. How about you?
I can only think of one offhand.
Yeah.
It was identical twin sisters. But I feel like I've known
Were they
more.
cute?
Kind of. I feel like I've known more along the way, but I feel like I've had a lot of people I know like have twins, like
Oh,
just on
really?
social media. I've just
Yeah.
seen like a lot of twins happen.
I kind of feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I just wasn't aware of it, or are twins more common? A lot of people are doing IVF,
Which does
which I
make a
feel
difference.
like
Yep. You have-
it usually gives you more of a chance. So I don't know. I'll look up the twin stats.
the Twin Fest.
I was saying twin stats, but I
Oh.
like fucked it up the way
Yeah.
I said it, and then I just kind of went with it. I'll look up Twin Fest, in twin stats,
Yeah.
and we'll figure out the twins.
So we won't pod for a few days.
I know, I'll be in South Kakalaki. Unless we wanted to try something from afar, but I don't think we
No,
want
no.
to try something
One of
from
my least
afar.
favorite things is whenever you listen to a podcast and someone is like
Far away.
Skyping or zooming in or whatever, and you're
yeah.
like, ah, the audio
It is
so
amazing.
bad."
I mean, there are a lot of people that do podcasts not in person, and they have the right microphones.
gotta
and they
have
have
a
the right
permanent
setups
setup,
and stuff. But yeah, oh god, when someone comes in, you're like, well, you've lost my attention a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if the information is extremely fascinating, the fact that it shifts.
Yeah, tonally.
Tonally it shifts. It's hard to pay attention to. I mean, I was trying to run yesterday, and the podcast I was listening to, that was the exact situation, and it was fascinating. It was a bee girl. She's a what are they called?
Entomologist.
Well, no, just a beekeeper.
Oh.
I'm thinking of them like really simple. She's just a beekeeper, not just a beekeeper. She's a beekeeper, and it was fascinating. But she was far away on her farm with kind of a shitty connection, and the host was clear as day, and everything sounded beautiful, and it was just hard.
Yeah.
It was just hard, but that's because I'm shallow.
No, you're not. It
Can
makes
be.
a difference. It's like listening to anything. You know, I think music right away, but like if all the other instruments are clear, but
Yeah,
you know,
something comes in.
something is recorded
Yeah.
on an iPhone, and you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Right. It helps. I mean, once again, we want the connect. I mean, we want it to sound like it's in real life.
Well, yeah, you want it to sound like a conversation happening in real time.
Yeah.
That's appealing to
Yeah.
you.
And I think that's the desire for one-on-one human interaction.
Yeah, I think, you know, the popularity of podcasts obviously is because people want to hear long form
Oh my God.
conversations.
Yes. That also, I went to a podcast live, and I went to Giggly Squad. live.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very excited for it because, you know, it's great. These people become like your friends, but they're like little pseudo celebrities. You get to see them in person, and the seeing them in person part was awesome. Like, that was so fun. But podcasting is the majority of the time a very individual experience. So to be sharing that with thousands of people in a theater was weird as fuck.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking around and I'm like, you know these girls too?
Yeah.
And you get this idea in your head of who are the listeners, and you attribute
assume
them
it's
to yourself.
yourself,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, there are people like me. People not like me
Yeah.
at all. People very different, which is fine, but it makes the experience different.
Right.
And not as good, to be honest. I mean, it's great. I mean, the podcasting live, it's cool. Go to one if you
They're
want
funny,
to.
so.
But I left feeling a little, not even like, not let down, just off. Just kind of like, oh, all those people were there.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's not your normal experience with these people you listen to all the time. Yeah.
It's just one-on-one, which is kind of funny. But so that was a weird takeaway from it. And my sister went with me, and she felt the exact same way. We were just
Yeah.
like, and she and I are very similar, so it felt okay for us to be there
Well, you
together.
guys usually talk about Giggly
And we
Squad.
talk about it
Yeah.
together. But yeah, some of the girls were really fucking annoying.
Wow. Well, also, I think drinking was encouraged.
I think drinking was encouraged.
So people were getting sloppy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
I did notice, though, so Giggly Squad, very popular podcast amongst young women, and it was at a theater like a block away from where we
Oh, yeah,
lived
around the
downtown.
corner. Amazing.
And all the restaurants that evening were packed with girls dressed up.
to the nines.
Everybody like dressed the fuck up, which I didn't
Oh
know that
my
was like
God.
going to be a thing.
I mean, girls just wanted to be in their
Showing
hottest, cutest. Not even like really showing out. Just like, what is my cutest,
Yeah.
most fashion
just
forward
funny 'cause
outfit? How is my hair going to be?
Every
so
restaurant was
perfect?
packed with only young women.
Only girls and people on the street who didn't know what was
Oh,
happening.
we're
It
like,
was just
what?
like, what
is going on?
What is at the palace
You
tonight?
would think it's like a Timberlake or something. I don't know, like who was drawing.
Yeah,
like,
even
only,
worse, though,
maybe
like-
T Swift or something. Yeah.
yeah, it was very fun, and it was girls in like their mid 20s to
30s,
like early
yeah,
40s.
Yeah.
Only.
Only. Yeah.
It was, well, and then the few guys who were pulled along by their female
Right.
ladies.
I would have went.
Yeah. I wouldn't have wanted you to go.
No.
No.
Sister time.
Yeah, you would have been like, although you do listen to it and you think it's funny.
It is funny. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, podcast live. It's interesting. I would totally go to another one. I don't know. I don't listen to really enough podcasts.
Yeah. Well, we're sort of.
Oh yeah, Sandwiches of History. Yeah.
He's not a podcast,
week
but it's
and
a
a
very
half.
similar thing where it's like, we have this experience with Barry.
Who else watches?
Who
and
else
listens
fucking
to
watches this? Obviously, a lot of people.
Who are these
Yeah.
sandwich freaks like us?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Now, we got tickets to Pittsburgh next week. It's just like next week.
Yeah, it's like a week and a half.
But someone commented, the people, not Barry, but the people who put on the tour,
Yeah.
I guess his agent,
Okay.
like I had commented like, oh, Pittsburgh, only 3 hours from Columbus. They commented this morning, well, we might have news for you.
Oh fuck! Are you serious?
And
Those assholes coming to Columbus.
I was like, well,
Can we transfer our tickets? I want to go to Pittsburgh.
I
though.
wanna go to
I
Pittsburgh,
want to
too.
make it a little,
It's gonna be a fun little
adventure.
trip.
We got to go to Boney Tony's.
we got to go to Boney Tony's. We'll report back.
Boney
about
Tony's
it.
will probably be like closed. I
We
know it's
should-
a Sunday, but like they'll be like closed for the Lord.
I bet like, they'll have their service.
Yeah,
And then there's
and then just
probably
be open.
between until like the next service or
Yeah.
whatever. So I would assume that there's time to check it
I
out.
bet so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun. It's a great excuse to get out of the city for a minute, go to another city, a cool city. I like Pittsburgh.
But if Barry is trying to come to Columbus, I'm gonna be like,
Come over.
come
Make
over.
us a sandwich.
Yeah. You want to hang out? Let's do it.
Oh, that'd be fun. We'll need to get some white bread and butter.
Well, we'll see. Whatever he wants.
That's true.
We'll get a bunch of funny condiments and stuff.
Yeah. Clam sauce.
Clam sauce. All right. Well, I want to start getting ready for work.
Okie dokie. Well, that was fun. You know what? My day's feeling even better now.
You feel tethered?
Well, I'm never quite feeling tethered. And actually, when I walked down to get coffee this morning, I walked out the door and I was like, I don't know if I'm tethered this morning, but I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like if I need to, I could hook on and I'm tethered.
I'm feeling good. I feel like I can tackle the day.
Good. Well, I hope everyone else has a good day.
Yeah, for sure.
Adios.
Bye.
Good day.